So, calling me out for not having my wake and bake? Yeah, it's hockey tournament weekend, hockey tournament season. So that's what we're doing right now. But I will be here this Sunday.
Yes.
I will be here this Sunday. Yes. Confirmed. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nudes. I would like to, and as I always have, I love to talk about what's going on in our space, whether it's in the culture, science, nudes, health, you name it. I want to talk about it. Nothing is off the table here. Let's make that very clear. I want to make sure that we can have a conversation surrounding anything. And one way to do that is to dive in and see what's going on in the world of our plant. If there's anything that you think is interesting or something that you would like to discuss, I want to hear from you, because I live in a bubble and I don't always know what's going on. I have the same few sources that I use to source out my stories. But aside from that, I don't know what's going on around the world always. So if there's a story that talks to you or speaks to you, you can follow me on Twitter at Pigeons420. Yeah, I tweet. Yeah, you can come find me. Do you tweet? There's no such thing as a tweet anymore, Pigeons. I'm bringing it back. And by bringing it back, it never went away. Except I tried to avoid it and it didn't work. So I'm back. So I'm going to be tweeting about it. Anyways, I want to talk taxes, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk taxes because I didn't realize this. This is actually a common conversation for me when it comes to tax. When it comes to taxes, I am pro tax on our plant for recreational use. I am anti-tax or against tax when it comes to the medicinal market. And why is that? Well, I believe when it comes to medicine, you shouldn't tax people's medicine. If someone needs medication for whatever reason, there should be no taxes on it. It should just be the cost of the medication, and that's it. I don't think we should tax the sick. Something maybe that only Canadians do. I don't know if they do that in America, probably, but I'm not sure. However, in Canada, we actually do get taxed on our medicinal products. And they're trying to change that. When it comes to recreation, I do believe that it should be taxed. I chalk it up as like a sin tax, if you will. And why? Well, because there's two things in life you can't avoid, right? Hemorrhoids and taxes. Death and taxes. Since you can't avoid it, you may as well work with it. Use the taxes from the recreational market, invested in education, invested in healthcare. I don't even care, actually. Invest in whatever you want. That's the joy of having taxes, particularly on the recreational market. That's my take. It is kind of not controversial, but it is a hot one. But I stand by that. I didn't realize how vast people are actually being taxed for their medicinal products. Washington is to do away with a 37% medical tax. 37%. Medical patients in Washington are in line for some much needed financial relief, with the state now set to eliminate an onerous excise tax. Lawmakers in Washington recently passed a bill granting an exemption from the 37% excise tax for medicinal patients and designated providers. That is great. But holy man, how much money have they made off of those taxes? 37% is remarkable. The bill, HB 1453, was originally introduced last year. Per an official legislative summary of the proposal, the bill aimed to provide a tax exemption from the 37% excise tax for qualifying patients and designated providers with a recognized card on purchases of products that are labeled as DOH, Department of Health, compliant products and tested in accordance with the DOH's rules. Again, another reason you should be growing your own. You're not going to be taxed by your intake if you're growing your own product. So keep that in mind. What do you think, though, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to taxing the medical system and or taxing the recreational system? When people say, my opponents would argue that there shouldn't be tax at all, no tax. And I just think, I think that's kind of foolish, and I think that's irresponsible, because I feel like we should be taxing. There has to be tax. There has to be tax. So why wouldn't you tax this product, which is in many cases making billion-dollar revenues for states, provinces, and territories? Here's one for you, ladies and gentlemen. Are you surprised that the rats are high? The rats are high. NOPD, this is NOLA PD chief, says the rats are all high because of rat-infested evidence room. Heavy mold and deteriorating elevators, HVAC units, and plumbing are some of the issues that have been plaguing New Orleans Police Department headquarters. Oh, it's New Orleans. New Orleans Police Department Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick told the Police Council's Criminal Justice Committee on Monday, the rats are eating our marijuana. They're all high. Rodents have infested police headquarters, scattering feces across desks and feasting on narcotics in the department's evidence room, she said. Cockroaches are also abundant. How are you allowed to work there? Like, these don't seem like sanitary working conditions, for crying out loud. That is nasty. The rats are high in New Orleans. That is nasty. Nasty. How much would you be surprised if those rats turned out to be little robots working for the cartel and they're actually smuggling the weed out of the police department? It's like cockroaches. Yeah, the monkey. Yeah, the little cartel monkey. Yeah. You know, I play this game called Rainbow Six. It's very real. And there's an operator that could like send out this little drone and it can follow you and give away your location. What if the little cockroaches are little drones? I don't know. MedMen. Sure you've all heard of it, shutters all but 2 of its California operations. MJ Biz Daily is reporting that MedMen Enterprises has shut all but 2 stores in California. Workers confirmed to the MJ on Friday. We had a 75% off sale yesterday. There is no more MedMen in California. Wow. However, MJ Biz later learned the information was inaccurate and 2 MedMen stores remain. Okay, that's the one at LAX, I heard. So unfortunate, but it's you know, I think unfortunately we're seeing this exchange in hands, or a turning of pages between the old and the new when it comes to who's going to be the movers and shakers in the industry as the years go on. A lot of these businesses overexpanded, they overinflated, they overemployed, they overpromised and underdelivered. The product was subpar, unsmokable. It really wasn't gaining any kind of traction. And I think that's because these kind of companies are sheerly searching for profit, the margins. They're trying to decrease the margins and increase profits. And the reality is you can't do that. And this is the changing of guard that we're seeing between the old and the new. And I welcome it. Bring it on. I'm excited. You know, I look at companies. You know, I look at companies like Swank Genetics and the things that they're doing, and it's no surprise to me that the companies of the old are on their way out. When I see the passion, the drive, the excitement, the quality, the desire to share, that is unprecedented. That I've never seen before. And those are going to be the people that end up making the moves in our industry. Those are going to be the movers and shakers. People's like the Cookies. You know, Cookies is kind of also becoming that bit inflated as well. But I do believe the passion is there. I do believe in Cookies. I know that's also a controversial statement all on its own. But I do think that I do believe in that brand. I do believe that, you know, the passion is there. The desire is there. But of course, the challenges of trying to have a brand that distributes consistent flower on a mass scale is remarkably difficult. If there's anyone I think that can do it, I think it's guys like Berner. I think it's guys like Swank Genetics. I think it's guys that have a passion for the plant and the community that has not been seen before. So out with the old, in with the new. That's what I got to say. But I ask you, what do you guys think when it comes to seeing the old going out and the new coming in? Here's something for you. This one kind of caught my eye in the last minute here. I didn't have a whole opportunity to dive real deep into this one. However, it seems like we're getting some more reports on THC blood detection by your government. We're going to learn this one together. Virginia Department of Forensic Science releases report on THC blood detection. The VDFS, that's what I'm going to call it, the VDFS, the Virginia Department of Forensic Science, recently released a report regarding its federal-funded study to research reliable testing methods for detecting THC in blood. The DFS, oh, okay, they're gonna abbreviate it even more, was originally granted $300,000 in 2020 by the Department of Justice National Institute of Justice. The goal of this research project is to develop and validate an automated sample preparation technique for the quantitative evaluation of an expanded cannabinoid panel, CBD, CBN, CBC, CBA, CBC, in biological matrices, stated the award description. More than $1.1 million was available in total, and the sum was divided between a total of 5 projects. The ever-changing climate of cannabis decriminalization and or legalization has significantly impacted forensic laboratories and is anticipated to increase the caseload in forensic toxicology. The description added, in addition, products claiming to contain other cannabinoids, including cannabidiol and tetracannabinolic acid, have become widely available. 4 years later, DFS has released a 107-page report. You can find the report in this story about its findings. The report shows the detailed process of separating THC metabolites, experimenting using different types of blood: bank blood, antemortem blood, postmortem blood, and also urine. Ultimately, researchers developed a process to identify different cannabinoids. Within the research project, a method was developed for the quantitative and qualitative evaluation of cannabinoids in biological matrices using supported liquid extraction. The report stated that the methodology employed LCM-SMS, liquid chromatography, with tandem mass spectrometry, with 2 analytical columns of different stationary phases to enhance the conformation of cannabinoids. LCMS was used to help determine the slight differences between cannabinoids. To enhance the selectivity of the long numbers, a 2-column chromatographic method was developed to enable additional confirmation regarding the identity of a compound. Within the validations, the evaluation of inferences from other cannabinoids was critical in the assessment of the method and its validity. That's pretty neat. Did any of you get anything out of that article? Me neither, man. I just report the nudes. I'm just here. I have a pretty face. You okay, babe? She's not gonna make it. She's not gonna. I nailed it. I got all that right. Hire your wife, they said. She's just dying over here. I killed it. She's gone.
Great job.
Thank you. So yeah, check that out. Check that out. I don't think you'll be able to like really read it any better than I did for sure. So I'm not sure it's going to make sense to anybody. But the real story here is that the government's watching. Okay, and they're coming for you. Okay, they're coming for your blood via liquid extraction. That's what I got from that. For the first time ever, can you believe it? For the first time ever, our plant, our product was mentioned at the State of the Union. What's the State of the Union? I have no idea. No, I'm just kidding. Only because nobody's going to watch it anyways. But State of the Union address by the president, he actually mentioned low-key about the reclassification of our plant. I will get into in just a moment whether I actually think anything will change in regards to our plant in just a moment. So in State of the Union address, Biden vows to review federal reclassification of President Joe Biden issued its State of the Union address on Thursday, March 7, and among many topics, he said he'll direct his cabinet to consider reclassifying at the federal level. It's the first time that a president of the United States addressed reform as part of a State of the Union address. Well, I'll be damned. Keep building public trust, as I've been doing by taking executive action on police reform and calling for it to be the law of the land, directing my cabinet to review the federal classification of this plant and expunging thousands of convictions for mere possession, because no one should be jailed for using or possessing this plant, is what he said. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's what he said after, I'm sure. Yep, that is the first time. That is kind of encouraging. I think it's fruitless, to be quite honest with you. I do not believe we will see a sitting president within... and it's funny, I said this before Trump got in 2016. 2016. Someone asked, do you think Trump will reclassify or legalize? No, 100% absolutely not. Will Biden? No, 100% absolutely not. He will not. It's funny that it's only you ever only hear this buzz conversation when it's close to a re-election or another election. This conversation as a topic during election, in my opinion, is smoke and mirrors. That's exactly what happened in 2015 with the Liberal government here in Canada. They promised legalization for the first 3 years of their term. Nothing. It wasn't until the last year where there was an election coming that he thought, I'm going to mention this again, and then started to run on it a second time, and then of course managed to swindle himself a few more votes, and here we are. Don't be so susceptible to the conversation of legalizing our plant. It's not going to happen. It's going to happen on a state level first, and it's going to then move outwards. So we will not see legalization on a federal level until, in my opinion, 90% of the states have legalized. Even then, will they legalize? I don't know. I think there's too much money behind the pharma industry, behind alcohol industry, behind the Mothers Against Drunk Driving or intoxicated drivers campaigns and industry. No, we have a snowball's chance in hell to get legalization in any term, in any presidency that I can see. Pick your candidate. I don't care. I'm that cynical when it comes to legalization of this plant, unfortunately. And my glass is always half full. It's not a why would the people why would the government legalize? This has nothing to do with them. This almost frees your populace to think critically, to have a source of medication that you can have liberty over. There's too much autonomy that is associated with the legalization of our plant that I just feel like is very threatening to those in power. And my example for that is here in Canada. It's illegal. It is federally legal. However, banks still won't touch you with it. It's very hard to get any kind of a business done with a financial institution. The government has incredible oversight over the plant, over its processes, its regulation. Like, it's nasty. It's nasty. I just don't believe that we'll see legalization, because it just gives up a lot of control. It gives up a lot of control. It's just another way to discredit someone, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I don't know. I'm very cynical when it comes to the legalization of our plant. But I ask you guys, do you think we'll see legalization? Robert Rittenhouse says, define legalization. Well, essentially, in the same way that the majority of fruits and vegetables are legal, they're regulated, but they're legal. That's how it should be. It's a plant. It grows. Let it grow. Let people have access to it. I don't think kids should have access to it. That's a big thing. So, a lot of people might argue that there should be no laws around it. I disagree. If you guys have ever heard of Orange County, California, where oranges can come from, those oranges are heavily regulated. Heavily regulated. There's a level of expectation of quality, level of expectation of safety, level of expectation of working conditions, level of expectation and regulation surrounding taxes, exportation, imports, all of that. Cannabis is no different. Cannabis is no different. It's a commodity. It's a plant. It grows. It comes. It goes, and that's how it should be treated. People should not be going to jail for it whatsoever. Obviously, if you've got someone that's supplying to children, I think that's criminal, and I think there should be consequences for that. Prison time for pineapple thieves in Hawaii, yeah, I believe it. Prison time if you shoot an animal and you leave it, right? So, and it's just like, well, what rights do animals have, right? Well, you shouldn't shoot an animal and leave it. You should go to jail for that, right? So there's regulation that goes with things that I think is important. And that's no different than this. I don't believe that kids should be able to walk out of a school and see a dispensary outside the school, in the same way that you shouldn't be able to walk out of a school and see a bar, a club. You know what I mean? So yeah, regulation. but access and liberty at the same time, right? I pose the question to you, what's your legalization look like? My legalization here in Canada comes with limits, comes with terms. We can only have so much on us at any given time. You can only buy so much. There can only be so much of a percentage cap. There can only be this, that, and the other thing, right? So yeah, just grow your own. Master Yoshi, I totally agree with you. Let us grow 6 plants legally. I think you should grow as many as you want. I don't think there should be a limit. I don't think there should be a plant count. Why can't someone grow an entire backyard of weed? If they want to have the potential risk of having people stealing their product, that would be an inherent risk, right? That's not a regulated issue. The government's not going to come, or in a legal utopia, the government's not going to come take your weed. No, some 5-finger discount kid's going to come steal your weed. So then you're going to have to come up with a security system and a fence and a yard to put it in, or a roof to put over it, and people to protect it, and equipment. Well, are you going to do that? No, of course you're not. So what, you're not going to grow a backyard of weed. You're going to grow 3 plants so that you can put a little chicken wire around it with a little scarecrow and a camera, right? So it's like the system would regulate itself if we just allowed it. I'm not saying that robbery or theft is a part of the system, but it is, really, when you think about it. And then there should still be there should still be a medicinal market for it as well, because patients should have access to product, and they should have access to product before the recreational market. So there should be medicinal supply chains that supply good quality product to the caretakers or the medicinal market in general. And then you have recreational. What's the difference of quality? 0. There's no difference in quality. The quality should be exactly the same. What's the difference between medical weed and recreational weed? Nothing. There isn't a difference. But there has to be a different market. There has to be people that provide it for the medical and provide it for the recreational. And one shouldn't be more than the other, because then no one's going to provide for the other market. You know, if the medical is where it's more lucrative, everybody's going to go to that one. So it's got to be, or if vice versa, if the recreational is more lucrative, then it's got to go to that one. So I'm not saying I have all the answers. I just strongly believe that the way in which we're approaching it at the moment isn't accurate. As I look at the preview, I just realized how non-symmetrical my whole studio looks. But yeah. But I pose a question to you. What do you think? Taxes? No taxes? Medical? No medical? Should there be a medical? Should there be a recreational? What do you think? Pass the question to you. While I pass that question to you, I'll take another drink.